Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome Jean Perret, who is going to talk to you about creating a positive classroom environment with your primary students. Good afternoon, Jean.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you, everybody, for coming. I see you've already had an excellent first session. So, are you all ready for more? I hope you can. I hope you can. Keep your attention for a bit longer. Where are you all? Are you all at home, at school? Yeah, I can see your messages in the chat box. If you ever want to say anything, oh, good, you're ready for more. That's good. That's good. Okay, all right. So shall I get going then, Kasia?
Sorry.
Oh, so shall I start then, Kasia? Are we ready to start?
Of course, yes, we are ready to start. Right on
All right.
time.
All right, lovely. Okay, thank you very much. Well, as I say, if you've got any questions or any comments that you want to make, put it in the chat box. Oh, and I see we've got people from, oh my goodness, from all over the place, from all over the place. Well, I'm in Greece, and at the moment it is dull and rainy today. So that's not what we expect from Greece, is it? All right, okay, let's get going then. So, hang on. We should be able to change this slide. Hang on a second. It's annoying, isn't it? Oh, there we are. Okay, so we're going to be talking about building relationships and building our students' involvement and their confidence in our primary classes. Okay, so some of you will know me, we'll have met before, maybe in real life, maybe in a webinar. My name is Jean Perret. I've been a teacher for many years. I had my own language school here in Greece. Um, but now for many years, my main job has been writing primary courses. So for primary and pre-primary courses. What I also bring to the table is that I am a parent. My four kids are adults now. I always mention my family because I think it's important because we're always looking at the parent side as well as the teaching side, aren't we? Because we're very involved in what our parents want and think as well. And we're parents ourselves, or many of us are. And of course, now I'm lucky enough to be a grandparent, and I'm a grandmother to seven little ones, and they range in age from 2 to nearly 11. And of course, because we're all in Greece, my own kids were brought up bilingually to greater or to lesser extents, depending on how long we've been here. They were all born and bred in Greece, actually. So I was also involved in, helping my children to speak English, and now I'm doing the same with the grandchildren as well. And these things all sort of like come into the bigger picture. So we have to have a sort of holistic view. Okay, all right. So um, in the past few years, as we know, the way we taught had to change, didn't it? We all now have experience of having to teach online. It wasn't something that we expected, and it wasn't, and it was something that happened quite suddenly. And I think that now that we're back in the classroom, we do have a clear understanding of how vital our role is. And I've been giving this a lot of thought, actually, um, you know, building up to doing this webinar, to talking to you about this. And I do believe, actually, that things are going to change even more. And I do wonder if we're going to get to the stage where we actually say, do you remember the days when we just had one teacher, one primary teacher, who was teaching us our own language? And she, nearly always a she, was also teaching us maths, She was teaching us history, she was teaching us geography. Maybe even the same teacher was also teaching English. She was teaching us PE, RE, art, music. For some of those, we might have had specialist teachers, but well, as far as I'm concerned, when I was in the primary class, I had one teacher teaching me everything. And I think that we're going to look back at those days and say, how did those women do it? So we are still doing it now, but I do think that it's probably going to change because, as we know, we are using more and more technology all the time in our classrooms. And I do wonder how much longer we're going to go on having one teacher in the classroom in front of the students doing all of the things that we do now. I feel like it's probably going to change. And it doesn't really matter how ready we are for it or what we think about it, because if the change is going to happen, it's going to happen actually. So I think it is quite, maybe even more important at this time that we do really have a clear understanding of our worth, of how vital our role is. I'd be interested if you do think that this is going to change, that actually teachers, real life teachers, might become a thing of the past. If you've got any idea, any thoughts on that, put it in the chat box. What do you think? What do you think? Do you think I'm right or not? Let me see if I can see all your comments. Hang on a second. Let's have a look here. Let's put it on to everyone. Okay, all right. I can't actually see any comments there. But anyway, let's see what we think about this. Sorry, I'm having, okay. So, all right. So how vital our role is. And our role is vital not just for helping our students gain knowledge and skills, which is our number one job really, but also for assisting them in building relationships. Okay, so relationships with each other. And this is one thing that we know, surveys have been done, that the children after COVID were absolutely desperate to get back into the classroom, not to learn, but to be with their friends and to learn with their friends. I mean, some of them did still want to learn as well. But this was the main thing that was missing for them, actually being with their friends in the classroom and having their teacher there. So their relationships with each other, their relationships with us, and with their own vision of themselves as English language users. It's very important that we help to build their confidence so that they do see themselves as people who are capable of speaking English and of using English as well. Okay, so they have a positive image of themselves as English language users. All right, so first of all, we want to help the children feel involved in the class. And as we know, this was a drawback when the children were learning online, that you couldn't feel properly involved. And this is, you see, it's a drawback in a way of us doing a webinar and not a face-to-face presentation where I could bring you up and I could make you feel more involved. It's not the same having a chat box as it is for actually us talking to each other. So what helps us feel we are involved in a class? Okay. All right. So number one, of course, is joining in with the activities. And this is the main thing that we teachers try to ascertain, that they are all try to attain, that the children are all joining in with the activities that we are suggesting that they join in with. And then being noticed for who we are, okay, for who we are, and being noticed for who we are and how we are doing things as well. Now, hang on a second, I've got to try and move my chat box, because my chat box, sorry about this, guys, is actually annoyingly in the way of my, you see, it's so annoying with these things, isn't it? Okay, I don't know if I can move that. Okay, all right. So being noticed for who we are, what we do, and how we are doing things, okay? And then feeling that what we do is of value as well. So this is something that we can help to assist them with, that we can show that we can see that what they are doing is of value. And then you see, here we are. Look, wait, I need to move my chat books. I'm really sorry about this, guys. And now my because all I can see is feeling here. What does it say? All right, guys. Sorry. I'm going to have to put the chat box down. All right. So then feeling that we are part of something of value. In other words, at the school, that the class is within a school and that the school is of something that we value being. So being a part of that community of English language users. Okay. All right. So all of these things will help us feel that we are involved in a class. All right. Okay, so you see, this is the trouble with my technology. It's taking longer to move these screens. My computer is not behaving. Sorry. Yeah. Okay. Okay, I can't change the slide. Hang on. Okay, all right. All right, please excuse these little delays. All right, so joining in. All right, this is what so joining in with activities, and this is what we always focus on as teachers, getting everybody in the class to read, to write, to do some exercising, choosing some students to write on the board. This is the main part of our job, yeah? Ensuring that all students are completing the work that we set them, yeah? Okay. And then, of course, if we want to all our everyone in our class to join in with things, we need to make our classes inclusive. So we do have to be aware of our own teaching styles, okay, and to be ready to adapt how we present language. And I think it's something that is worth going over again, that we do often think about children's learning styles. This child likes reading, this child likes writing, this child likes doing things, but that we do always have to look at ourselves and think, what is our teaching style? What is our main teaching style? Are we writing lots of things on the board? Are we using a lot of technology? Are we somebody who wants them to get up and do things? Well, actually, what we have to be is all of those things. So we do have to adapt our teaching styles. If we are somebody who likes sitting down and reading things out and then going around the class and asking questions, we have to make sure that we also do things where the children will be getting up and doing things, okay? We have to be adaptable so that our classes are inclusive. And we can actually change our teaching styles several times within, let's say, a 50-minute lesson, okay? So this is how we plan our lessons. We're going to do a bit of reading, a bit of writing, all right? And we change how we teach within each lesson, okay? We can be adaptable. Okay, how we present the language. All right, so in other words, we're going to use different styles and skills so that this is using different styles and skills not only make sure everyone can learn to the best of their ability, it also helps with the all-important repetition, okay, which is necessary for language acquisition. So in other words, you can take one simple thing that you are doing and you can do it through reading, you can do exactly the same through writing, you can do exactly the same phrase or language through getting up and doing things, because when we're going to acquire a language, we need to repeat things. And there's many, many different ways of doing that, rather than just going around the class and saying the same thing again and again. We can do the same thing in lots and lots of different ways. Okay, all with me? Okay, let's see if there's anything in the chat box. Is that trying to be inclusive? I'm trying to be inclusive as well. Yeah, okay. Okay, good. Every so often it just gets stuck. Sorry about this, guys. Hang on. Sorry. Have a cup of coffee while I get this sorted out. Yeah. Sometimes it just changes. I can't see someone on the screen to change it either. Come on, keyboard. Okay, this is really annoying. How else do I change it? They've got all these little things up here, but how to actually change it? Ah, okay. All right. So another thing that a real life teacher can do that a digital teacher will never be able to do is actually notice children, what they're doing, who they are, and what they like. Okay. All right. So, children, so why is it important to notice it? Well, okay, for a start, children will make an effort when they know that their teachers or their classmates will notice it. This is human nature, yeah? And again, this is something that it was very difficult to do when we're all on different screens. And it's difficult for us to do. I can't notice now what your reactions are, and you can't, and so I can't be impressed by how interested you are or change something if I can see that you're not interested. So actually being noticing something is a very important thing that we do in the classroom. It's one of the things we do all the time, but I'm making a thing of it because digital teachers can't do these. Yes? Okay, this never happens. So noticing. So children, of course, they love it when we notice that they've done their hair differently, especially with the little ones, or that they've got new shoes, or that they've got a different pencil case. All these things help to personalize the lesson, okay? So that we do see, that we notice what they're doing and also sometimes what they're not doing. So it is important that when the children arrive at our lessons that we are calm and undistracted and can focus on them. And I'm saying this because we do always have so many things to do. But when the children arrive, for them it's a big thing, even if it happens every single day, and it does happen every single day, or 5 days out of a week. Entering a classroom is always an event, and we can make sure it's a happy event. I'm not saying you have to be deliriously happy every time you see them, but you do have to be present and in the moment. So not pinning up things on the wall or doing something else. You've got to be there at your desk and be greeting the children as they come in. So you can notice all the little things about them. Have they got a different bag? Are they feeling happy? Are they feeling a bit down? Who wants to sit next to who? And so on. Okay. So, and the thing is to be undistracted. Anything of worth, we need to be focused on the moment. Yeah. And this is something that we do have to think about now because we're so distracted by so many different things, especially with phones and tablets. I mean, I don't need to say this, but we do have to keep reminding ourselves, especially in the classroom, to stay in the moment. All right, we're going to be looking at a couple of courses. One of them is My Disney Stars and Heroes, okay, which is a 6-level course, and it's a collaboration between Pearson and Disney. So Pearson brought all the English language teaching expertise, and Disney brought all these amazing characters, yeah? So you can see at a glance your kids are going to love the course just by looking at it. But of course, it's got all the expertise of Pearson within the course itself. All right. So in the books we teach, we use characters to introduce new language, yeah, which is what we always do in primary. So let's look at My Disney Stars and Heroes. And here, I think this is from level 1. We've got here Rapunzel, yeah? And so we're using the character of Rapunzel to talk about daily activities, actually. So it's my free time. I paint, I read, I play the guitar, I dance, etc., what I do. Okay. So we can continue this using our own students as examples. So of course we're going to have the book, we're going to do the lesson, but we can also then immediately personalize it by using our students as examples. All right. Now then, I've got a little trick here, and it's very, very easy. And one way in which you can do this, so you've got your whiteboard or your blackboard, and you draw, you start to make your students into characters, yeah? And it's very, very simple. You don't have to be a good artist. This is the main thing. All right. So what you do is you draw a generic child's face, but at the same time as you're drawing this generic child's face, you are looking carefully at the child that you are focusing on. Okay, so let's say we've chosen little Maria. I'm going to draw Maria. Okay, so you draw the face, just an oval face, all right? And then you're going to draw a nose, you're going to draw the eyes, you're going to draw the mouth. It doesn't look like Maria, it looks like anybody, yeah? But because you're looking at Maria, Maria or whoever is going to think that it's them. And then the trick is you have to pay very careful attention to the hair, all right? It's the hair that makes children look individual. So you've got the generic child's face, at the same time you're looking at Maria and you're carefully doing her hair, okay? How they like it to look as well, okay? So you've got to just be simple about it. You don't have to be an artist. And then all of a sudden, you've got your own character. So you've had Rapunzel in the book, and now in the character to help them feel involved in the lesson, you're drawing it. You're going to use Maria as the advantage. So as the example here. So what do you do in your free time? Maria, here's Maria on the board that you've drawn. I play, I read, I play the guitar, I see my friends. Going to use her own examples. So in other words, you're making Maria or any of your students as important as Rapunzel in the book. Yeah? Okay. All right. So that's the trick. The whole trick is just look at them. Try it and you can tell me if I'm right or not. They all think that their face is exactly the same, okay? And the other thing that you have to be careful if children wear glasses. Sometimes they don't always see themselves as having glasses because when they're looking in the mirror, they might not be wearing their glasses. So they don't always see themselves as wearing glasses. So you can ask them, shall I put your glasses on or not? They can say yes or no. Yeah. Okay, all right. So, of course, you don't have to draw every child in one lesson. You can't, it would take up all the time. We'd be in an art class. But throughout the week or the month, you can draw them all. You can use them all as characters. It only takes a short amount of time, but it does help to make each student feel special and noticed. And this is the main thing, okay? All right, feeling noticed. All right, another way we can go on from this is to have the students create their own avatars. Okay, and we can create these avatars, which you can then maybe laminate or cover them with sticky back plastic like you use for covering books, and you can attach them to the board with magnets or with blue tack, and you can use these little avatars again as using examples, use them as examples just as you would do as characters in the books, yes, so they become more important than the characters in the book, or as important as the Disney characters. All right, and of course, you see, what you realize is that we are all using avatars all the time now, because avatars are used by large corporations, e.g. television streaming companies. All right, so you've got a streaming company like say Netflix, okay? And the first thing you do is you choose an avatar, for your profile, all right? And what it does is it helps, they're doing it to make us feel that we are a part of that big company. We create our own profiles for the programs we're going to watch. It is actually a marketing idea, but it does serve a purpose because it makes something that seems so big, it makes it seem more personalized. We've got our list on our own, whatever streaming company it is that you use. They're the same films as what everybody watches, but it makes you feel as about this drawing you into it. So that why I think that we can use the advantages of avatars, and they don't have to. They can use them. They could be like themselves, or they could choose somebody completely different for their avatar. Okay, and I think that this is something that you can do, in the first sort of couple of weeks of the year when you're revising, what's your name, how old are you, all those profile things and everything, what color's your hair, etc., etc. This is something you can do. So I say you just make a little avatar, either take it and be laminated, or if you've got a laminator, or just cover it in sticky back plastic, yeah? And you can use these avatars. You can put them on sticks as well if you wanted to. Okay. All right. So it's another little idea to help to personalize the lesson. All right. Now, something else that we can do to help to increase involvement is to have social media style bulletin board. Okay, so you have a bulletin board in the classroom, which you use in the same way as we use something like Instagram. Now, then, the reason that social media sites like Instagram are so popular are because A, we can add our own content, but also that the content is very small. Okay, there's only a tiny bit of content each time. It's either a picture, a photograph, or a very small bit of text. Yeah, there's only a little bit. So we can do this in a bulletin board as well. All right. So we can have them, they can post pictures or short texts about themselves on the board. These are things you can change all the time. You're not going to have this as a display. It's going to be a live, you could call it, what's the name of your school, something gram or something. So it's like a social media site where they can come in with something new, something they thought of, an idea, something they think is funny, anything, and they can just pin it onto the board. You could use it for the children to add ideas about topics you're working on. Yeah. So you could do that. Say you're working on the topic of, I don't know, the climate or something, that maybe they want to put some ideas or some thoughts, but just very short little things. Okay. Or it could be a board where anyone can write anything that they want to share, something that they did that was funny. And you could start it off, okay? You start it off to show them how you intend to use the board. And it has the advantage as well. You can put it outside, maybe outside the classroom, or you can put it in the classroom, wherever anybody can feel, that feel free to just add things. You're going to have to keep an eye on it because there's going to be some students who'll write silly things and you're going to have to take them down. Okay. Somebody might try and sabotage the board. Let's be realistic. They're not all going to do what you want. But I think that this is quite a nice idea. So if you think of it as being like a Facebook or an Instagram or whatever you use for social media, and just think of it that way and keep on changing it. And the thing is that they can do little bits of writing, and just pin it onto the board. You don't have to have pins. If you're worried about having pins, you can use tape or you can use blue tack or something to attach the notes and the pictures to the board, and you can change them. Of course, and again, you've got to be careful if they're going to post a picture of themselves. Somebody's going to come along and draw a moustache on that picture. So you do have to, you've got to be careful. Don't get them to put up the most precious picture that they've got. Anyway, so that's another idea. And I say you can use it as well for topics that you're doing. Okay. All right. All right, group work. All right, how do we feel about group work? Group work sometimes works and it sometimes doesn't. All right, so encourage some group work in the class. I think you do have to, be sensitive to students who really don't like working in groups, because some children will just always feel much happier working by themselves. And it's not always as productive as individual work. But it does help develop essential working communication skills. Now, you see, I think that once upon a time, group work was even more important than it is now, because especially nowadays, where even in big companies, it used to be that all the employees would get together at some point, and there would be meetings about things, face-to-face meetings. And now so much work is just being done at home, and maybe they go into the office once or twice, that I wonder if this is something that is changing, that there's more emphasis on individual work. Having said that, I do think it is important to help the children to be able to communicate with each other. And it's doing group work, you've got to be careful how you monitor it as well, okay? And I think that obviously you can ask the children to assign different roles within a group, depending on how old they are. But I think sometimes it's good to come in as a teacher and just say, you do this and you do that and you do that. We don't always have to be asking them what they want to do the whole time. Sometimes the role of a teacher is to make decisions. Okay. So, so I'm kind of a little bit divided on group work, because I say that it does sometimes work very well and you get amazing results. And sometimes you think, okay, maybe that would have been better if they'd done it individually, or pairs. I often think that working in pairs is easier than a whole group, because if you've got 3 or 4 or more people, you're going to get some people who aren't pulling their weight. But anyway, these are important life lessons for them to learn as well. This is from I Succeed, and this is actually a whole story, part of our whole, the unit, all about working as a team as well. So this is another one of the books we're looking at. This is from I Succeed. Okay. All right. So this is from I Succeed, not Disney Stars and Heroes. Yeah, I'm pretty certain that's right. Yeah. So working as a team. Okay. Yeah, and here we've got different ideas. So these are different examples so they're going to be working as a team on a project that is about teamwork as well. Is it from I Succeed? Ah, no, maybe it is. Maybe it's from Disney Stars and Heroes. Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, you're right. It is. That is from Disney Stars and Heroes. Yeah. Okay. Here we are. This is I Succeed. Yeah, which is kind of a higher level, more text based, I would say. That's right. Okay. And in I Succeed, there's a section of the unit, of each unit, which is called real life tasks. And in real life tasks, the students are encouraged to work in groups. So as you see, this is I Succeed is much more text heavy, actually, than the Disney Stars and Heroes. And so here they're working as a team to organize a school trip. So these are things you might want to look at. You're going to get, I think I saw that Kasia said that after this you're going to get a sample pack from I Succeed and a sample pack of My Disney Stars and Heroes. So these are things you can look and make a decision what would be better for your school, what sort of level they are. Okay, and again, of course, teachers working as a team. So, as well as encouraging our students to work in groups, we must also remember to work together with our own colleagues. And post-COVID, many adults still work from home, and so there is less real interaction. Okay, this isn't the same now as teachers. We're nearly all back in the classroom. But generally speaking, as I said, a lot of adults are still working from home. So there is less real interaction between colleagues in other careers. So maybe we do need to focus on not losing this life skill, actually interacting with our colleagues. So what can you do? Well, you can share props, and of course you can share photocopyable resources. So any work that you're doing for your class, make it shareable amongst your colleagues as well. This saves time. And the more you share, you're going to get stuff from other people as well. Don't hug your work to yourself. All right. We can use props. We do need props in an English language classroom. We use props because we want to be able to bring speaking activities to life. And to become confident in speaking, we need a lot of practice and we need a lot of repetition. And dressing up, for example, putting on a hat or a wig, is a quick and an easy way to become different characters. And in this way, we can say the same thing in many different ways. So you just say, hello, how are you? Or hello, what are you doing? Let's say, hello, what are you doing? Hello, what's happening? You say it as a friend. You're going to say, hi, what's happening? Okay. Say it as a police officer. Hello, what's happening? All right. You can say it as someone who is, say it as a clown. Hello, what's happening? All right. So you're just going to repeat the same thing, but in different ways. This is why we need props, to bring language to life and to get this repetition, to actually be doing something, becoming a character as we speak. We always need to move as well when we're speaking, just as we do in real interactions, okay? When you're in the classroom, sitting at your desk, it's not the same as standing up and saying, hello, what's happening? You're not going to be saying it quietly to each other. standing at a desk. You're going to be getting up and moving, greeting somebody. You're going to be doing something, drinking something, eating something, walking, running. You're going to be doing something almost every time that you say something to somebody in real life, okay? So this is what we need to think about, and this is where props can come in useful to bring that to life. Okay. All right, so for example, the same phrase, as I said, could be taken spoken in different ways. For example, you could be a wizard talking to a princess. So if you want to just say, yeah, okay, let's just have that phrase. What do you want to do next? What do you want to do next? Okay, so a wizard talking to a princess. How would a wizard talk to a princess? Okay, what do you want to do next? What would the princess say? Oh, well, what do you want to do next, wizard? Okay. A reporter talking to a footballer. All right. So what do you want to do next? You want to stay with the team? All right. What about a mother talking to a child? All right. What do you want to do next? We've done this, we've done that. What do you want to do now? So in other words, just very, very simple phrases. You can repeat them just going around the classroom, but you can repeat them in so many more creative ways just by becoming different characters. This is one way in which we can bring language to life, okay? All right, encouraging confidence. Okay, feeling that someone trusts our ability to manage something is incredibly empowering. So if you can single out a child, you're going to single out all the children through the week, through the month, through the year. If you single out a child as being good at something, they're going to take notice. So you can say, Anna, you're good at listening. So maybe it's a child who doesn't speak very much, okay? But you can see that she is taking it all in. Anna, you're good at listening. Why don't you take some notes and help us remember this? Okay, you can help with this. Anna, you're good at taking notes. Anna, you're good at speaking. You can help with this. Anna, you're good at reading. Anna, you're good at finding things. Anna, you're good at anything. But there must always be truth behind what you say. Okay, so everyone is good at something, even if it's something seemingly small, like cleaning the board. Yeah, I'm talking about the very little ones. Okay. Okay, Costas, you're good at cleaning the board. Come and do this. Costas, you can help me with this. Costas, you can take the books up. Costas, remind me this. You're good at remembering. Okay, there has to be some truth in what you say because real admiration and respect, real admiration is much more powerful than praise. So if you're actually really telling the truth, and properly admiring and respecting what somebody is doing, that is when it is noticed and taken on board by the kid. And you can test that out. I don't know about you, but I play word puzzles online. I like playing some puzzles every day. All right. So, like, there's a famous one called Wordle. There are all these other. There's loads of different ones. Now, then, what all those programs do is when you get something right, they praise you. Yeah. So you find a word and they go, awesome. Oh, wow. Oh, that's amazing. Okay. And even if you just got, like, there's one that I do, it's called a letterbox. You have to try and find, you have to use up all the letters, in a certain number of words or anything. So sometimes I've thought of a really, really good word that uses up like 7 letters. And they go, awesome. And I think, yeah, that really was awesome. However, if I also just write C-A-T, they're also going to say, awesome. And you think, okay, they're lying to me. They don't think I'm awesome. Okay. So anyway, so you know very well that these things are just computer, generated, and nobody really thinks you're awesome behind that. So it doesn't actually mean anything. And so just saying very good or well done or that's good doesn't really mean very much. I'm not saying don't say it. You can say, okay, that's great, that's great. But when you actually properly notice something and you're properly admiring what somebody does, then that child will take that to heart in a good way. Okay. And it's very, very powerful. So this is the whole thing about us noticing what our kids are good at. Yeah. And they'll remember it. They will remember it. They were not going to remember if you just said, oh, good, brilliant, very good, 10 out of 10. kind of doesn't mean anything in a way. Yeah. So, but when somebody goes, oh my God, how did you do that? Okay, that's amazing. All right. And you mean it, then that is very powerful. That's very, very powerful for the kids. All right. Okay. So confidence, confidence. So sharing short, simple presentations with other classes. This is a way of us, building the kids' confidence in them speaking English. All right. Now, as you will see, I've highlighted the words short and simple. And this is my number one teaching tip to you. Whatever you do, make it short and make it simple. Okay. So if you're teaching, within a larger school, which I'm sure most of you are, a very short and simple presentation that you can just do quickly for another class. You don't want to take up a half an hour of the other class's time. The other kids don't want to hear it. You don't want to have to be preparing that. But something very simple that you've learned or that you've done, maybe a song, maybe a text, maybe something that you think that as a class is interesting, and you can go and share it with another class. So all right, so for presentations, here are the top tips. All right. Use songs or short dialogues, short dialogues in the books you're working with. Okay, you don't have to write a whole new thing. All right. All right. Keep rehearsal time to 5 minutes at the end of a lesson. Don't ever try to do too much, okay? You don't want something that involves the children having to come in after school. 5 minutes at the end of the lesson just to practice what you're going to do. And then choral speaking, especially for little ones, it can also be very valuable, okay? So speaking in chorus isn't a real life skill. It's an acting skill, it's a drama skill, but it does really help the children who are less confident to all say the same thing together. I'm talking here about the very little ones, 5-year-olds, 6-year-olds, maybe even 7-year-olds, and they can all say something together. Yeah, and it helps to build their confidence. So again, even though it's not a real life skill, you can still use it in your English language lessons. And then also encourage some kind of expressive movement or mime to convey meaning when you're doing a presentation. Okay, but something very simple, big, little, angry. If you want to do a little presentation, maybe this is something maybe you're going to plan a bit more. You can make invitations or posters for the little presentation you're going to be doing, and these can be done quickly and easily in class, and they can help to make the presentation an event. And working towards a presentation, even a short, simple one, helps the children to increase their motivation for doing something. Knowing that you're going to have to do it for somebody makes you work a little bit harder, makes you do something a little bit better. And as you know, we do have to have like false motivation often in classrooms, because the motivation for learning English, when they can all speak to each other in Polish or in Lithuanian or in Spanish or whatever, they don't have that much motivation, but they can all speak to each other anyway. Yeah. So you've got to kind of find different motivation. We're going to show off how well we can speak English to the other class or to the whole school or whatever by doing this little presentation. But short and simple is the main tip. All right. And now we're coming to the end, and the most important thing in our English language lessons is kindness, okay? In my Disney Stars and Heroes, we've got a lovely little lesson here about understanding others and being kind, okay? Well, you'll be able to have a look at that when you get your sample pack. All right. So your kindness to your students is absolutely important, but their kindness to each other, encouraging that atmosphere where the children are going to be kind to each other. And because it's not what you do, it's how you make people feel that is important. And that is the number one, my main teaching tip. It's not what you do, it's how you make people feel. So if you're doing things from a place of kindness, you can do things wrong, you can make mistakes, you can do terrible lessons, you can do all sorts of things badly. But if you're doing it from a place of kindness that you want your children to learn, the children are going to go home feeling good. They're going to remember your lessons well.